A bill that seeks to establish a federal agency for the conduct of local government elections in Nigeria passed its first reading in the Senate on Thursday. Titled Local Government Independent Electoral Commission Establishment Bill 2024, SB 531, the bill was sponsored by Chairman Senate Committee on Finance, Senator Sani Musa. The draft of the first bill reads in part, to establish the National Independent Local Government Electoral Commission responsible for conducting elections to the office of the local government chairman and councillors and any other matter thereof to do with local government as a third tier of government. The proposed legislation listed the functions and powers of the local government election management body to include conduct of free, fair and transparent elections for local government chairmen and councillors, among several others. Arise News analyst Dayo Sobowale joins us now to discuss this proposed bill and how effective it could be. Good afternoon, Mr. Sobowale. Many thanks for being here.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure being here.
It's always great to have you. Now, how might this centralization affect the principle of federalism in Nigeria's constitution?
You have already labeled it. But okay, let me. The way I see it is a welcome development.
Okay.
And it's a logical development. After the Supreme Court judgment, see, which many people applauded, but which some people had doubts about. Let me deal about the doubts first. Afenifere said it was, the Supreme Court judgment was a judicial conspiracy. Ohaneze then said that it will be meaningless if there is no independent local government institution to conduct elections. And then the governor of Oyo, Makere, said it is a distraction. Mm-hmm. It was a distraction. What is needed is productivity for us to produce what we want, so you don't go to the center and then you can avert the hunger. That's what I put it on the ground. But to me, it's a welcome development because its aim is to ensure fairness in the political competition. We all have seen how local government elections, when they do it, it's the party in power, party of the day that wins. That is not, they literally kill the competition. But you see, the judgment of the Supreme Court, which Adebayo called judicial conspiracy, which is judicial conspiracy. It is conspiracy in the right direction. Mm-hmm. The conspiracy that brings the dividends of democracy to people. I have no quarrel with that. Get me? And then, of course, Ohaneze has looked forward. And what it suggested is what these people are doing. I think it's a fine day for our democracy. And Adebayo was talking of federalism, like you now. Federalism. When the federalism preclude equity or the democracy getting right to the grassroots, that's the essence of federalism. Any federalism that precludes that is dictatorial, and nobody wants that sort of federalism. What some people are even saying again is that this is the unitary system that we have in place since military coup of 1966 that people are still following. Well, and the flaw in that sort of observation is that federalism between the center and the states, and not a third tier of government. But that's a fallacy, because the local government are the third tier of government. And if you have a democracy which doesn't reach the grassroots, there will be a revolution. If the dividends do not reach the grassroots, there will be a revolution, and there will be anarchy. So I think, for once, I dare say it, our leaders are moving in the right direction in terms of letting democracy get to the grassroots. Let's leave it at that for now.
All
All right. Mr. Sobowale, first of all, thank you for your implications yesterday. You fed us very well for your birthday. Congratulations on your birthday again.
Thank you very
now, this administration made the bold declaration, of resuscitating the Oronsaya report. Now,
Yes.
a few weeks ago, or was it just last week or so, 2 weeks ago, we heard about a new ministry in the making. Now we're hearing about a new electoral commission. It feels like any of the changes that may have been made to cut down the government are being replaced by new things. Don't you think there's another way? Why can't we make the state electoral commissions that already exist efficient, as opposed to us adding more bureaucracy and creating potentially a new elite?
No way. I don't see that way at all. You see, governance is a continuum. And governance must respond to the needs and aspirations of the people that elected it into power at every stage of the journey to democracy. So government must be proactive, not reactive. See now, and governance should be cooperative, especially in a system of separation of powers. You see, you know what is happening in the United States? You know what is happening between the two major parties and their ways of life. They are always almost on warpath. But see our own system. The Supreme Court gave a judgment, and it was a moral judgment. It's not right for people to seize the funds meant for another tier of government. And people like it, and people are expectant about it. Even almost immediately, some local government plan to have elections. Do you get me? So, the way I see it, the government must cope with the problem it has on hand. Get me? If it does not, it will consume it, because that is democracy. And what they have done now is it cuts across party lines. It's like creating a political group. Get me? Because if democracy, I say, if the dividends of democracy do not get to the grassroots, then that political system is in trouble. So I don't see it as a duplication of function or a dereliction of duty. It is responsive to the needs and yearnings of Nigerians. I applaud it. Yes.
Responsive to the needs and the earnings of Nigeria.
Yes.
Fantastic, Mr. Sobowale. But how can this commission ensure fairness when it comes to resource allocation among diverse local governments?
You leave it to that commission. Let us have it on the ground first. It was something unthinkable before. I see that's why, in a way, I applaud this administration. There are some things they have done which we thought would never happen. This local government autonomy. Everybody thought, okay, once you are in power, you want to enjoy the power. Nobody knew it would be done. Even you saw what Ohaneze said the Supreme Court judgment meaningless without this body. And they are working on the body. Please, I think they are being responsive. I applaud the legislators. This time around, I give them kudos.
Okay. While we applaud them, we also want to make sure that this is a successful endeavor. INEC is still far from perfect. The state electoral commissions themselves are still far from perfect. What do we need to do to get it right so that this doesn't become another imperfect, although there's no such thing as a perfect election, but at least what do we need to do to make sure this body maintains its credibility?
We need to avoid rigging.
Plain and simple.
That is, see, that's our culture. But let us avoid it. If you avoid rigging, and there's accountability, transparency, and people are allowed to vote, see, at the grassroots, that's widening our level of political participation. And that is strengthening our democracy. Get me? If the dividends of democracy get down to the people, and the people are happy, the political system is stable. And everybody can breathe fresh air politically. Yes. If you avoid rigging, everything will be okay.
Okay.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Right.
Mr. Sobowale, do you think this bill has done due diligence when it comes to addressing the issue of voter apathy in local government elections?
Voter apathy has nothing to do with this. In fact, if anything, it will kill voter apathy. This is what is called political. You are widening political participation. You get me? You have state presidential election, governorship election, and now you have local government election. Not railroaded or controlled by the party in power. That is real democracy. You get me? That is what we should aspire to. And hopefully the bill will pass through. Then the execution is a different matter. Let them work it out. But the intention and the concept, they are fantastic, and they will widen the level of political participation, and people will be able to elect people at their own level that they can call on if things are not working well. That's democracy.
That is democracy. Mr. Sobowale, thank you so much for your time and your contribution. I know this is an ongoing story, so I look forward to seeing how it unfolds. Thank you so much for your time today.